So the next Haslab is going to be the Mobat, it looks like. No, not having that. Nope. Here's why I think it shouldn't be the Mobat. Here are 10 ideas for Haslabs. This is what I want to see in a Haslab, and you let me know what you think in the comments below. What should be a Haslab? But here's my argument for why the Mobat should not be a Haslab. Really, do they need to sell us a tank that is slightly larger than the Vamp for $300 and make us wait 2 years for it? Or could they just go to a $150 price point, like slightly bigger, slightly more expensive, $150, give me a tank? Can't you just do that? I think that makes more sense than the Mobat. Because when you look at the Mobat, and I love the Mobat, I'm not, no shots against the Mobat, it's certainly iconic, but it's a one-seater vehicle. You have one person can sit in it. You have, that person is exposed and probably going to get shot. And, I guess you could make the argument that if you're going to do a Haslab, well, you could, really amp it up. I mean, they did this with the HISS tank. That HISS tank is not the HISS tank we had, okay? That HISS tank has a back that you can open up so we can fit people inside of it. It's got weapons attached to the side. It's got several. It came with 4 figures. I don't think everything has to be a Haslab. I think a Haslab should be like a dream item, an item that you think you can't have, right? And $150 price point, make it something like the Vamp, as much detail as the Vamp, slightly bigger. Mobat, okay, you can make it motorized and maybe hopefully better than the original one, just went forward, backwards. That would be something. Put some lights on it again. Where would even lights go, right? Because that's like the other things. The Haslabs are about, like, where are you putting the lights? That's exciting to me. So what would be some great Haslabs? I'm going to pick 5 Cobra Haslabs and 5 GI Joe Haslabs for you right now. These are things I think. The reality is they can't do this forever, okay? They're not going to do, I mean, I guess 10 years is a lot. So that if we give them 10, that's a pretty good run, right? I will run, I'll have to move out if I, for too many Haslabs, and I won't be able to, live in my own space. I'll just be sleeping on top of Haslabs. Like, I was thinking, make me an aircraft carrier Haslab that's also a bed. So, right, like that would be the only way I could do it, because I could be, I'd just flip open the top and there's a bed, right? And then you can sleep in it, and then during the day you can play. You're never getting laid ever again if your bed is an aircraft carrier, but you've got an aircraft carrier bed. Choose which one you want. I don't know. I'm gonna probably go with, I'm kidding. I don't want an aircraft carrier bed. That's a terrible idea. That is a very bachelor heavy idea. Here are 10 ideas that I do think you could have as Haslabs that I maybe do want, that maybe would not ruin my potential sex life. Okay, so these are 10 Haslab ideas. These are the things I actually would want. In semi-order, okay? This is kind of in order. At number 10, we have Destro's Demon and the Despoiler, okay? The Demon is just such a weird, cool tank, and it's huge, so it's worth Haslab. The only way we could ever get it is as a Haslab. What's great about the Demon, it sort of raises up into position. It's got a lot of features into it. It would have a really good possible lighting system, as it has like a built-in sort of spotlight. That's like a red spotlight that, that rotated, right? So that would be kind of perfect, because they love to put these lights in these things. I think the Demon's pretty underrated. I think it's like a very weird, cool design vehicle. Here's another thing. Maybe you come out with Destro just in his garb in the next year, because we need that Destro in his Iron Grenadier garb, right? Very soon, we need that. But you could come with with his despoiler, you could come with that because it perches on the top of the demon. So the fact that it perches on the top of the demon, have it come with that, and then because you can just, it's a kind of a dumb vehicle. I don't know that I need it, but if you're gonna give me a Haslab, that would be like one of the extras. The other thing is like, what could you put in a set of figures? Because now we're gonna have, well, there's so many Iron Grenadier variants that would be great here. Another thing would be to like make up a Destro cousin, like add in a new Destro cousin, Barry the Destro, put him in there, and like, I don't know, they'll give him some name like Dorklon or some, give him a name, Destro cousin, maybe a woman, put him in there, put her in there. That would be very cool. New face mask, there's going to be a lot of Destros laying around. But the demon would be a very cool. I would be into that, and we need an Iron Grenadier Haslab eventually. Number 9. So this is for GI Joe Haslab. So this is like we know the next one that's coming is a GI Joe Haslab because they're going to alternate from GI Joe to Cobra, GI Joe to Cobra. Okay. Number 9. We're going to go with the tactical battle platform. This thing was awesome. I think one of the biggest benefits of a Haslab is their display items, really. So they're for super collectors to have a display item. For me, the boxes are like almost the most beautiful thing, and I'm displaying those. But I mean, I play with them too. I'm not saying I only display them. I play with them. Not only do I play with them, but my kids play with them. I let my kids play with everything. I am not the type of person who is, deathly afraid they're gonna break or lose shit. I hate it, but I am like, I just lock them in the basement when they do it, so they learn eventually. The great thing about the tactical battle platform is this would be something that would be a great display item that you could put a lot of figures on. So, if you want a shelf to put your figures on, it's basically a giant shelf to put your figures on. And also now you've got, it has a lot of play features. There's a lot of room, racks of weapons, different tools that you could put in there. Maybe some versions of characters that are, maybe have some alt versions of characters in there. Some deep cuts. It was a great little toy. It would have a helicopter pad that you could throw the Dragonfly on. So this would be an awesome thing. And it would be big. Yeah, it would be pretty big. But again, it would serve the purpose of having a surface in which you could lay 10, 12 guys on. So it would be very nice. Holy crap. Can you imagine a Haslab Cobra Bug? How crazy that thing would be. First of all, that is so decked out with insane weapons. You got those rockets that have like trident heads on them. You have the little jet skis. So the little jet skis that would come, those could be very detailed, and they could put a lot of work into those. It has that chamber in the where you can fit a bunch of Cobras, sort of the decompression chamber because it's a submarine. So you could have like some really nice detail, and a 6-inch version of that would be really fun to see the details there. The Cobra Bug is just it's got the detachable front piece that comes off. Lots of places to put lights. They love to put lights in the Haslabs. Who would it come with? I don't really know, but very, very cool potential for that. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, okay, look at the Bug. Compare the Bug and the amount of detail and the amount of things you could do with the Bug to a Mobat. There's just not much you can do with a Mobat. You have to reinvent the Mobat. You got to open up the Mobat and have people crawling inside of it, and it's just, I feel like, don't do that. Make it $150 price point. Next in line, and this is like, they're not gonna, they said they're not writing this one off. They said it's a possible one, and I would want this thing, even though I'd have to move out because it would have to be 6 feet long. But a Rolling Thunder. I mean, I think the Rolling Thunder is probably like the cap. That's like the biggest thing they could do where you wouldn't have to move out of your house. But man, just to have just like those giant like 3 feet nuclear missiles would be an awesome feat. But so much detail in the Rolling Thunder. There's just so much value in that thing, play value, so many different little pieces, that would be like the ultimate. It'd have to be more like a $500 piece, but they did do, Haslab did do the Ghost, Star Wars Rebels Ghost, and it was literally this big. So it was like I was like, how the hell would you even, I don't know, where would you even put that? At least the Rolling Thunder is long, so you know, it would just be a long piece you could put there. And I think that's the cap. This is good. I don't like, yes, aircraft carrier. It would be great for me to sit here and say, give me a Terradrome, give me an aircraft carrier. I can't. Where would you put it? What are you going to do with it? Where are you going to live? Like, you know, you can't do that. I don't have the unrealistic expectations that they're going to be able to do something like that. But the Rolling Thunder, the Bug, these are things that you can do. Okay, next in line we have the Mamba. The Mamba has got to be one of the coolest Cobra vehicles ever. Weird dual rotating blades. You got the 2 detachable pods. You've got tons of missiles. I would love to see a Mamba in the classified line. The next couple of years could be these. All right, these are the ones that I think they probably will do. Right, or they probably should be picking from the next round and the next few years. This is what I would want to see instead of a Mobat. Next in line, okay, the Havoc. Now, the Havoc is one of the weirdest vehicles, but also one of the most iconic vehicles. It's kind of weird to think. I don't think they're going to be able to do these forever, and I think that when they do them, they have to be from the icons. They can't all be random ass shit. Like, I think, yeah, like, all right, my first part of the list was stuff that I would enjoy: a Demon, a Bug. Is there the interest for that? I think that's when they're later in the line and they're still doing these in a few years. Then it might make sense. But I don't expect to see the Demon. Don't expect to see the Bug. But the Havoc is one of those that it really is one of those most iconic things. It's such a bizarre looking thing. It's also huge. So it would be like slightly bigger than his tank. The original one was quite a bit longer than the original his tank. So when you look at what they did with the his tank and the upgrade that they put, I could see a lot of really interesting upgrades into a Havoc here. Maybe put some sort of front protection so that the gunner isn't sitting there completely wide open. That cockpit leaves a lot of room for lights and display items. They could do a lot with that cockpit. Could be very interesting. And I think the treads as well, you know, giving it real treads, that little hovercraft that comes out of the back. So I think the Havoc had some real potential to be a very interesting Haslab. The Night Raven is based on the Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird, and this is a stealth plane. What an incredible vehicle. Now, the Night Raven was one of the most iconic vehicles in Cobra. It just has a sleek, gorgeous look to it, and lots of nice little play details and surprises. Well, it's got this little rear cannon. It's got like an attached one-man, you know, pod that can launch off and go on little strafing runs. As to what seemed like to me like they must be like sort of like drone pods, which attach to the bottom and fly off and then can shoot missiles on their own. And it's just a very sleek, stealthy looking vehicle. Of course, it gave us one of the most iconic parts of the cartoon, the character Raven. Really hope this is coming to the as a Haslabs soon, or that we at least get Raven in the GI Joe classified line next. And this is probably what I'm looking for next from them. Don't give me the Mobat, give me the original GI Joe headquarters. That would be an awesome Haslab. First of all, not huge. The original was modular, so it really had 3 sections. It had a helicopter, and a helicopter pad. So it had, you know, a garage, basically like 2 garages where you could put, you know, a Mobat and a Vamp. And then it's just loaded out with machine guns and spotlights and gunning stations and computers and a jail cell. So I'm imagining all the detail they could put in. Maybe this is where they give us General Flag as, you know, the figure that comes with it, or maybe a Command Center Hawk or something. To me, that would be a great display piece. That could be where you could lay out all your classified figures along the walls. Because of the pieces that came apart, it doesn't have to be that big. It can be something you can move around and you know, the pieces for. So. But that to me that's Haslab worthy, right? Like, you know, and loving what they're doing with the Haslabs, the creativity, especially his tank. I gotta say, Haslabs are getting less exciting. Like, I think what they did, the transformation from how good the original his tank is to how good that his tank is, was insane. Like rocket launchers on the side Gatling guns. Opening it up so you can get and have characters walk in, sit inside, have weapons, you know, putting lights on it, putting guns underneath, making the tracks move. It's completely transformed from the original. Seeing what they did with that, then they go to the Dragonfly, and the Dragonfly is the Dragonfly you had, but larger. That's basically, it's amazing. I'm not like complaining. It's absolutely amazing, and it's got, you know, some incredible stuff to it, but it's the same thing you had, but in a 6-inch scale, right? And the Rattler looks like the same. Looks basically like that's what you had in 6-inch scale. So I like the idea of the transformative stuff. I think they need to go back to what they did with the His tank, where they transform it, really reinvent, and that's what they probably would have to do with the Mobat or the Havoc or something like that, to make it worthwhile. I'd love to see what they would do with a reinvention of the GI Joe headquarters. You could do so much. There's so much you could do with that. Next thing we have, this would be possibly my my most exciting and most wanted Haslab, would be the Hydrofoil. The Hydrofoil is an absolutely amazing vehicle. My favorite vehicle in the Cobra line. And just so full of cool details in it. Depth charge launchers. You have the detail of the engine. I think they could be really playful in, you know, the crew of the Hydrofoil, who goes on that crew. Maybe like a different sort of decked out Copperhead that could like join the crew. But the Hydrofoil would be really up there for me as the most wanted. Hopefully it will float, because, you know, I do have a giant, I have one of those like blow up Intex pools, a 15-footer. You can get one of those 15, 20-foot Intex pools for your backyard, or a 10-footer, and you can float a pretty big ass vehicle in it. It's pretty fun. So I'd be looking for the Hydrofoil, and that would lead us to the number one. This is the number one. This is the one Haslab I want more than anything, which is, I hope, the one they're going to announce when they announce instead of a Mobat. Because, again, the Mobat is not a Haslab. It is a slightly larger vehicle than the Vamp. And therefore, you should not be charging me $300 and make me wait 2 years. I'm going to repeat myself. Okay, the Whale. The Killer Whale would be the absolute ultimate Haslab. It would be massive, sure, but the amount of features that it would have would be absolutely incredible. You would have, you know, I would love to see how they would detail out that little recon sled that pops out the front. I'd love to see it have more of an interior, maybe a little deck, maybe where Cutter could have, you know, a coffee cup and a little place, station for himself. Maybe an alternate shipwreck could come with it. There's so much fun stuff with the Killer Whale. It really is one of the best vehicles ever created for GI Joe. And I'd love to see what the Haslab folks would do with it. That's my take on the 10 ideas for Haslabs I would like to see over the next decade. You know, obviously it would take a decade to get there. Let me know what you think. What am I missing? What should be on there? What do you agree? You think that I'm wrong about the Mobat? You think that it's, you know, how would they make that Haslab worthy? I don't see it. Are you going to get one? And let me know what you think in the comments below.